Next up, we have Robin, number 14, written by Joshua Williamson, with art by Roger Cruz, Norm Rapmund, Luis Guerrero, and Troy Pateri. And with this, we have part 7 of The Shadow War, the penultimate issue, where we have the Secret Society of Supervillains, the Deathstroke, getting taken into Talia's Demon's Fist. And I keep messing it up because you have the Demon's Fist here who actually peace out, like, you know what, we're out of here. But the Demon's Shadow.
Demon's Fist basically is the same, and I like the play. It's the same as Ghostmaker. They're there for orders and a little loyalty.
Look, because, we're related, I was going to do this, hang out here. But you know what? Go fuck yourself, Talia.
When the shit hits the fan, they're like, yeah, this isn't exactly what I want to be. And
I want to play into this a little bit, too, because you had the Demon's Fist introduced back at the beginning of the Damian's original Teen Titans run, where he was the leader with Starfire and stuff like that. But in that, you had them facing up against the Demon's Fist, and the leader of this is Mara, who's his cousin. I wanted to have some more familiar connection here before she just I know we're family and all, but fuck you, Talia, I'm out.
That's my biggest problem with this whole story is not what we're getting. It's actually what we're not getting. I think it could have been expanded, especially when you're dealing with personal things, very family-based story, and you end up having Geoforce. When we get the reveal, the big thing, and he says, Deathstroke messed with my family. Done and done. He doesn't say anything about, we wanted more of that with Tara.
Talk about Tara, please.
I wanted more of that. I wanted the more connection with that.
Well, not only that, can you give it the connection that it deserves just because we had in the rebirth era of DC Comics with the Deathstroke book, where we had the Team Defiance, where Tara was on that team and not dead.
And we wanted an explanation.
How do you play that up anymore now?
Yeah, and I said at one point, I thought they were going to be as simple as, this guy keeps stringing her along. He keeps grabbing her, making her think weird things, whatever, but we don't get anything. And that
weird,
actually
sexy things?
Is upsetting. No, not now. Or maybe. I don't know how old she is now, how they play it out.
Old enough to smoke.
The idea, well, there you go. But
I was 11.
The idea, you could have played Geoforce, Brion. He needed her because of what was going on in Markovia and all the things going on, that she was off doing the Deathstroke stuff again. And he's always grabbing her, always putting ideas in her head. It would have been that simple. But just saying, yeah, he's always messing with the family, it wasn't enough. I don't think it was enough to give a lot of people who may not know what that was or what's going on. Just mention her by name so we know that that's what he's talking about, because a lot of people wouldn't know. A lot of people have even started reading at Rebirth even and would only know Tara in that. So you don't have to go to particulars. Just mention her. And you don't. And then you have Mars. She just, we're family. We're out. Not even getting the connection of that, where you have that deal with Damian finding out about Respawn, where he seems to be so upset because he had family. Well, he does. She's here too.
Him and Mar don't get along.
But again, maybe this would be a way, because this is a little different Damian. I mean, a lot of times Damian doesn't get along with anybody.
No.
And maybe he could have, have more of a connection that she could show up.
If you're out there reading DC versus Vampires Hunters #1 this week and you see that Damian Wayne and this is not that Damian anymore. This is not the douchebag Damian. This is the Damian that wants to grow and be a better person and a hero. But everyone around him just keeps making him want to be this piece of shit, including his father for some reason.
Yeah. So when you're doing all this, it's a big fight. You end up having Batman go off to Ghostmaker. Hey, what happened? Well, it was his guys. He went off. He's going to go fight Talia.
And
Damian's the one who figures it out.
Where we take the Ghost Stream, Ghostmaker's ship to Talia al Ghul to go and stop the big war that's happening. The Shadow War, where you have all of Batman Inc. and Batman and Robin and Ghostmaker and Clown Hunter and stuff like that. But the idea is we're going to put on these bat-shaped jetpacks. We're going to go down there stealth style so nobody can see us coming. I'm like, it doesn't matter. No one's paying attention to you, because Damian just says, I'm done with your bullshit. You're going to apologize about talking about how I killed Alfred. You didn't mean that, and we could be father and son again. I'm coming with you, because Batman tries to make him stay behind because he doesn't want to lose him like he lost Alfred. So it becomes a thing. But I don't even know what Damian's plan was here, because he just jumps out of the jet with no jetpack, no parachute, and Batman has to jump out and save him. But nobody needs these stealth jetpacks because nobody cares that Batman Inc.'s coming.
The thing is, the funny play is that Damian jumped out of that plane when he was with Talia. This is his MO. This is what he keeps doing. Remember when he jumped out then?
He just wants attention.
That new Robinson, he's like,
is this his version of stomping up the stairs and slamming your bedroom door?
It does seem like that, where he comes. I laugh, though, that in this, too, where an era at this point where Batman has no money, you can't do the normal where Batman would always have his cave, all these things blowing up of his, but you can't replace. So now Ghostmaker, unfortunately, he gets his stuff blown up, but that guy has tons of money.
Sure
and
does.
They go off, and Damian ends up realizing, no, I know what's going on. He's heading off to go take care of Mother. And so they're going to go off and do that as we see that fight. Pretty cool page and really good art. I love the art in this issue. So you end up having that. It's really neat. And it is funny to look at some of these. A lot of these characters that are fighting, a lot of them are a little bit of schmucks. So it's funny to watch them getting just ripped apart at points.
Well, it's not only the idea where you do have a lot of cannon fodder here between the secret society, like, who cares about the body doubles if something happens to them, but even the idea of the Demon's Shadow or Demon's Fist here, you don't really care. But for some reason, Joshua Williamson is really trying to go the James Tynion IV route, where James Tynion brought in Ghostmaker and said, look at this character. He's always been here. Bruce's best friend since childhood. You just never saw him before. Kind of making this character bigger than you ever thought possible without having that really do any work about it. Joshua Williamson is doing the same thing with his character, Angel Breaker, who's a part of the League of Shadows, where now, before we saw that, like, Angel Breaker, she was trained by Black Canary. Oh my, they have a past together. And when Ghostmaker shows up here, oh my God, Ghostmaker and Angel Breaker, they have a connection too. I'm like, well, this Angel Breaker, she is the Ghostmaker of 2022.
And then she is. And it was kind of spelled out that they had this weird connection.
It's so funny to me that we're bringing Batman Inc. back. And the last time we had this, we pretty much shut it down because Talia's Leviathan got so pissed off about there being a Batman Inc. that she killed her own son.
It's all twisted and turning,
I'm
right?
like, let's not bring that back because bad things happened last time.
That then happened. Then she got Leviathan taken away, which ends up getting Geoforce mad. There's a lot of twists and turns here, but one of the things that threw me off,
the drama.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the drama. You end up where Deathstroke faces Talia. Says, hey, listen, that'd be funny if Slade's like, listen, we're going to fight. I know you're not that great a fighter. She's like, what are you talking about? I can fight you. No. You lost to Catwoman.
Catwoman took you down in a sword fight and Tom King's run a Batman.
One of the last big fights you've been in. You suck. But with that, when Deathstroke says, listen, I didn't kill your father, but I don't care now. I'm going because you killed my boy. Also, when he says, your boy toy was trying to... I had no idea that he was talking about Batman at first.
What do you think he was talking about?
I didn't know. I'm thinking, boy toy.
Shawn Michaels?
No, the problem, maybe. The problem is he keeps saying boy about, about Respawn. My boy. So when I end up, I'm like, oh, Batman, boy toy. Okay. But yeah, they're going to end up when she says, I don't need Batman. So
with Batman Inc. being here and essentially a version of a Leviathan, even though it's just the League of Shadows and whatever you want to call it at this point in time. But with all this going on here, Slade winning revenge, would have been crazy if he shows up and pulls out that golden gun that Kathy Kane had at the end of the Batman Inc. and just shot her in the head like Kathy Kane did in that.
Think of this, Eric, and keep this in mind for everybody if you listen to this week's podcast. I think that they reserved that for the end of Detective Comics this week, for crying out loud. But you end up where, when all this is going on, you have a bunch of characters on teams that basically say, yeah, you guys can fight it out. We don't want to get involved this much. We're going to skedaddle. But then you even have Deathstroke, who basically comes and says, I didn't do anything to your but I don't care about that anymore. Now we're going to fight. So it gets very personal. But that's when you do have the Ghost Stream coming in, like you said. Everybody is occupied. Occupado right now. Yeah, really. I got to get that now. You end up where they're going in and they're going to stealth in. Even with that, the idea that Batman has come up, it seems like his plan. Listen, we know that Deathstroke and his team here are coming in. It's going to be an all-out war here, and we're going to sneak in. I'm like, I think you're beyond sneaking. Just get in there.
And I'll tell you, they're going through this plan that doesn't matter, and all I can do is sit there because you have the Ghost Stream come in, and you have Batman Inc. on top of it inside of this, and I'm like, all right, look at all these Batman Inc. characters. I'm like, Wingman is here. And the last time we saw Wingman, you know who Wingman was? It was Willis Todd, Red Hood's father.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yep. Yeah,
and I'm like, is this still Willis Todd? Because the previous Wingman died. And even before Willis Todd put on the Wingman suit, when we last saw Wingman in Batman Incorporated, it was Jason Todd in that suit. So who is Wingman here?
Hey, I just don't think of those things as looking very stealth either, in my mind. But
what are you, the bad jetpacks?
They're going to jump out. Yeah, but jetpacks aren't necessarily stealth. But hey, we're going to go. It doesn't look like a great glider. But they end up where
it looks like an action figure accessory I had with my Kenner Batman Returns figures in the 90s.
That looks like battle armor to the extreme in my mind with the thing sticking out the back. But that's where Damian, I don't know, he's sitting there. They're all putting on the glider and he's like counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait a minute. We're one shy.
Daddy?
Where's mine, Daddy? Daddy, where is mine? And he says, you're not going. Now, I like the idea of this, but you've already done a lot of things with. I mean, you ended up going after this faux stroke with Damian right there. I don't know.
The dynamic duo is back together again until right now.
And this is where we do get that talk now. And I, again, just to toot my horn, Eric, and this is just for me, if you don't know, But here's what I said, because everybody was upset when Batman said, hey, you ended up having, if I was there, Alfred would have lived. It's your fault. You're to blame. And me and you discussed this. And I said to you what I thought would happen on the page, Eric. Here it is. Do you think that what Joshua Williamson is trying to do is not have him say, if I was the one there, I could have saved Alfred? What I think that Batman is doing here is saying, I'm sorry that you were the one there. I should have been the one there. Do you think he meant, listen, it's not your fault.
I don't care what
I should have been there.
A fucking idiot.
This is the problem. He says, Damian, I didn't mean. And he goes, yes, you did. Batman just stands there. That's when I really think that he is being even more of a dick, because he could just walk over and grab him and say, no, listen to me. If I was there, I could have saved him, but I wasn't. And at the end, I do think that he's going to say this again and say, listen, let me finish. No. If I was there, I could have saved him. Unfortunately, I wasn't. It was my fault. I wasn't there. But again, it was goofy to even get mad. I knew that this was going to happen, but again,
too late.
It might be too late.
You went and played Magnum PI with your whore girlfriend while I watched my real father die.
Seriously, listening to that original clip, you said those words. I'm like, I'm not going to make Eric say word again. And then I said, hey,
no, that's not me.
PI.
That's the thought of Damian dealing with his trauma.
I'm
acting.
Wait,
I'm getting into
that.
character. A method.
Now you're almost making me have to grab the full clip for later, because I say to you, oh my God, and you specifically then said, that's not me talking. I'm acting as Damian.
At least I'm consistent.
Yeah, you are.
I don't remember any of this, but it all makes sense to me.
Yeah, legitimately, I knew this. And it's funny, like now you realize, well, that's not really that great a prediction. But when people were losing their mind, I knew we were going to get to this. And what I said was, and I'm glad that you're sticking to your gun, because I said in that deal, and that was the Shadow War, the beginning, the origin deal of that. And I said the alpha. And I said, what Joshua Williamson is going to do is he's going to try to get accolades at the end to try to get people, oh my God, Batman's such a great guy. But you're right, it's too late. And it comes in here where he's also just still doesn't feel right. And they kind of moved on from that again. So it's a weird play to have this at the last second to kind of get, tugging at the strings here that really aren't there anymore. So I'm never right about things, Eric. I had to point it out. But you end up where Damian's like, what? You're not going to give me a stealth glider? Well, I have one of my own. It's called Nothing, and jumps out.
Boy wonder.
What is his end game here? Because Batman goes to save him, right? Batman goes to save him, but that doesn't resolve things, because if Batman was any bit of a parent, he'd do something to still make sure that Damian doesn't get involved. And even then, I wish that, where we said, I wish things were expanded a bit. I wish this was more of the idea. He does give that talk, right? That's fine. But the idea, you're going to go down there. You're going to see your mother. Your head's not right. Things are not right. I'm going to go down. I'm going to, quell the situation. I'm going to diffuse this, and then we'll work things out. But, Damian has to be involved. And you have to show that Damian's
I will tell you this, though. When they drop the jetpack and just go right into the middle of this battle here, and Batman and Robin swoop down and hit the ground, I'm like, this is the dynamic duo that I want to see. Batman in this costume, Damian in this costume, just being Batman and Robin, just fly in, and they're getting right to the point. I'm like, this is amazing. It looks so good.
Yeah, and just to point it out, I do believe when I saw the announcement for that Mark Waid deal, it was almost that panel there.
Nice.
It's the same deal going on. It looks like it is that progression. But yeah, now you have Batman Inc. going in, Batman and Robin, everything's going in. Ghostmaker's there. He runs into Angel Breaker. Hey, baby, haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? They have that little...
It is so disappointing seeing you working with the Batman Ghostmaker.
You only wanted me to be your Catwoman. Ooh, I'm getting sexy.
And the thing is, I believe it, because he's freaking always threatened by what Bruce can do and just wants to mimic what he does to be the better version of him. I can totally believe that, and I want to see it.
You said this is a James Tynion, deal. This is a Joshua Williamson playing James Tynion, getting these new characters.
With the James Tynion character.
I like Angel Breaker, though. I actually like her. I think that she could be intriguing. I don't know enough about her.
She's got a magic sword, and she wears a visor, and works with Talia al Ghul. That's all I know about the character.
She was trained by the Black Canary, and I know that drives you nuts. It's like the idea of piggybacking on other things, but I don't mind her. I think that she's pretty
Dinah
cool.
Lance. I do like Dinah Lance. This character must be awesome.
I like the character design, too, and I just want to know, does she get the mascara like that, or does she put it on and then cry so that it goes like that?
You know what? That's a boss move.
That is a boss move. Or is she just crying as she puts it on, stabs her eye? But yeah, they kind of fight off. That gets them together. But you do have Damian run off. He wants to find his mother. He wants to save her. He wants to stop all this. Runs into Rose. And Rose ends up, and this is why I do like these issues. Know. I like that Joshua Williamson, he's not going too far with things. This isn't a Rose. Rose should never be crying, I lost my brother. She hated him. She hated us, and she says,
well, I don't know if she hated him, but she was very indifferent once he threw her through a window of a skyscraper. That kind of pissed her off a bit, but I don't think she hated Respawn.
I think she actually says at one point, I didn't like him at all. And so whatever, but...
That's because you never had a chance to know Clay Wilson. I want to say Clade.
Yeah, I'm specialty. But yeah, so you end up where he runs into Rose and says, we had to come here. The reason why we're attacking is because of what Talia did, what your mom did to Respawn. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? You don't know. And you have that classic where it's the Batman move, but she takes the mask back.
Now we got to talk to this little boy face to face.
Yeah. And says,
your brother, my brother, he's dead.
Yeah. And just so I want to point this out, Eric, she says specifically, Talia's ninjas killed him, just like they killed the Hood. I hated Respawn, but he just wanted a family.
She's just talking.
She hated him. But he did. He just wanted a family. That's where he became endearing to me.
In my mind, likes Respawn more than you like your brother.
Well, holy moly. Now that is a Sophie's choice, if I ever heard one there. That is hate on
your
hate.
Brother never threw you out of a skyscraper window, and I still think that you hate him more than Rose hates Respawn.
The thing is, if this was me and I run into like you, big smile on my face. Hey, guess what, Eric? I'm like Ghostmaker. I have no empathy. But she says that, and I think that's when I became kind of, and it's weird. Remember when you had the over-the-top Respawn who was just trying to get Slade's attention and things like that? That's when I really fell in love with him, and that's when I knew he'd die. Whenever I get the idea of, oh my God, he's so... Because he did just want a family. He just wanted to be somebody. They weeded it up
too much for you to the point where it looks like a character could be happy, so they're going to die next issue.
That's when I know there's trouble. That's why I'm waiting. If I'm ever going to be happy, the next day I'm dead. So you end up where I really started liking him, so it does hit a bit. But yeah, Batman comes in. I like Batman.
Do you remember in the final season of Angel back in the early 2000s when all of a sudden all you wanted for that entire thing since Fred showed up was like Fred and Wesley to get together, and they had like I think a half an episode where they finally realized, oh my God, I love you. And the next issue he killed off Fred and made her a goddamn demon. It broke my heart and it still kills me today.
It's when Angel gets his soul back, and 2 minutes later, Buffy has to kill him. I mean, every time something goes right, it's over. Batman comes in and goes, break it up, guys. Like, I feel bad for you. He's such a jerk. He's like, I'm sorry for your loss. We got to get moving. We got shit going on here.
Well, even the idea was like, I'm sorry for your loss, Rose. Damian, son. And he's like, don't touch me, Dad. I don't need that. Not from you. We need to find Mother. I'm like, stop saying that, Norman Bates.
I know, really. And so again, you have Deathstroke and Talia. They're fighting. And, they're going back and forth. They have a little bit of a little sexual tension, right?
Going on. The weird part is, at this point in time, Talia is still pissed off because she believes that Deathstroke killed her father. But during this whole fight, Deathstroke's like, look, I didn't kill your old man, but that doesn't matter anymore. You killed my boy. I'm going to murder you. Like, but if you didn't kill my father, I don't care. I'm not going to talk about it no more. Your father's dead. He was a piece of shit. You're a bigger piece of shit. I'm going to kill you. So it's just the idea. It's like, maybe I should Talia is almost at the point where she believes Deathstroke, but can't let down her guard because Deathstroke is going to kill her.
And then Deathstroke says, like, you're on the H. It was funny. I started going, what is he talking about, the heroin? You're chasing the dragon.
I'm going to say here, I'm like, when did they say you're on the H? I'm like, chasing the dragon, I can understand.
I love the play of that. I think that's a cool deal because it is like the, a habit, but it's also you're always trying to be your father. You're always trying to be better than your father. You're always trying to grab that. You never will, whatever. And she's like, I don't care. I am the dragon. I'm not chasing shit. And ends up stabbing him. And then
is it kind of like a podcaster who always wants to be right and always wants to one up somebody else and be better than them, chasing the dragon?
It might be. Well, I got the dragon this week, Eric. I have to end up sitting here. I'm not on my seat. I'm resting on my laurels right now.
I thought those were phone books.
Well, they are. A lot of them, too.
But Talia al Ghul does tell us that she's not chasing the dragon. Bitch, I am the dragon.
She is the H. And you end up then where she stabs Deathstroke. Now, the setup of
Splash.
this makes me laugh because, again, when is Deathstroke dead or not? You can't play this. We're trying to play this with Respawn
Asso's
here.
not dead from a freaking stab wound, that's for sure.
Now, that's why I thought maybe you could have set something up earlier where you did. And I don't think they want Deathstroke to be dead, obviously. But to make it play out that you might believe it a little more, I wish that Angel Breaker, when she was saying, almost like Tarkin, hey, we got to get you out of here. Oh, what our moment of glory? Maybe she says, listen, take this dagger. This has some poison just in case something goes on. Something a little bit that we would be like, oh, my God, maybe this will be something, but it's Deathstroke, so you don't. So he's there laying in blood.
Also with the idea
that
Deathstroke has been acting wrong, is it along the lines of a weird situation where Ra's al Ghul didn't want to use the Lazarus Pits because there was something wrong with him, but he was mummed the word? Deathstroke's been off. Is it because his healing factor's off? His body's maybe dying?
And it might be the healing factor.
Know.
Yeah, and I wish that these things would have been spelled out. Maybe they will be, so we'll have to calm down. And wait, the other thing, though, I don't know, because the Deathstroke being off, when we're saying this, you're also including, I know that you're including the Deathstroke Inc. book before any of the Shadow War. The idea of King Deathstroke and things like that.
He was just acting like a knight the entire time. I know we had some fantasy world bullshit, but him acting like a knight and a king that entire time felt so weird. Yeah, that
was weird. And we thought it was weird. And then when Joshua Williamson reveals in the books that people are thinking that this is weird, we thought that was a clever deal, but we haven't got more from it. We
Even
need a little more.
Even in Flashpoint Beyond #0, where you have Batman with the chalkboard looking through all the different things where it says, was that Flashpoint Beyond? But I'm pretty sure it was.
It was.
Where it said something's wrong with Deathstroke, or even like a little hint on there.
With all of that, I hope that all of that, because I don't think that was all just set up to try to confuse us with the faux Deathstroke, because like, oh, he's not acting right. Oh, he did this, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I hope that we find out that if there is something, especially because other people in the books are thinking this, that it is something that may be the healing factor. And that might be a deal where they say, you know, you just sit here and wait for him to wake up. I mean, oh, he's dead. Let's wait. And they're, you know, you're looking at your watch.
That's a weird thing if you think about the idea, and if you're going to tie the demon Nezha, which I don't appreciate, into this, but if you are the idea of the Lazarus Pits, what do? They heal you. Healing factor. Is it something around the world right now that's dealing with some kind of healing situation where things have stopped what they usually do when they involve this? I don't know.
Somebody check on Wolverine.
Because what I know right now is that Respawn, he had a healing factor, but for some reason his ass is dead in this comic.
It's working
I don't get
against itself. I love
what does that even mean?
This kid had a healing factor that allowed his heart to be removed and given to Damian.
He got shot 6 times here, dead.
And they say his weak healing factor is working against him. No, you went too far originally with that, but
he was an organ donor. Come on.
So, yeah, really. And you end up where she does stab him. Talia stabs him. He goes down. Rose comes in. More drama. Rose comes in. Oh, my God. And she says, he's dead. My father's dead. Very odd for her to say that in a way, too, that, remember, she is also a precog that you would think that she'd be able to see ahead, but they haven't really dealt with that much.
What was the last time we played with Rose Wilson's
I know when we did the precog deal. The way that we played with it was Slade ended up getting her on his side saying, you're worried about what's happening because you don't see ahead enough and everything's blank, almost leading to the Dark Crisis deal. We even said that was too far ahead. She has like a little deal.
Nobody plays with her precog shit at all.
I know, and you should.
What was the last time we saw at the beginning of that Deathstroke series when they brought Rose into this continuity as she is here, and the idea like she might have seen somebody get hit by a bus? Was that it?
That was what it was. It was. But again, Deathstroke mentioned it, but we haven't seen it. I wish that we would have seen her say here again. There's little bits that are missing where she says, he's dead, and I know he is because he's not coming back later, something like that. She doesn't say. We know he's going to come back.
Honestly, I just want her to be like play acting right here, like, oh my God, my father is dead. So everybody here can leave the room before something miraculous happens because, you know, he's obviously dead, and you gotta know that the body's dead. So
that would be cool that she ends up seeing that he's, you know, obviously not, and it gets her the. Actually, in a non-continuity deal, we did see Rose with the precog in Deceased in the Unkillables when she was talking
they
with
played
Jason,
with it over there, but I didn't count it because it was another universe.
At least you saw it there and going. But you end up then where all this is going down, and then Deathstroke, he just decides to come in here.
Where'd you come from?
And he's like, I know. I mean, did he have some stealth gliders as well? I mean, you had the idea that Batman thought they had to sneak in.
Did he just tunnel to this freaking place through the middle of the earth?
Maybe he did, because he comes in and basically is like, hey,
what a cool
up?
Costume,
this is what I wanted. You like them spikes, don't you? Yeah. He ends up where, hey, you know, this is what I wanted. You guys ended up screwing me. I wanted, you know, you to die as well, Talia. Unfortunately, you know, I wanted you to suffer and then die. Deathstroke's dead, but hey, we could deal with this because look at me. I'm Geo4.
I know, man.
Really?
We're not fooling nobody.
Yeah, nobody at all. I like, too, as this is still going on, Joshua Williamson still thinks that nobody's figured this out. Oh, my God, there's a rumbling. Is there a earthquake happening? How could this be?
Who's right now? A rumble.
Rumbling. And then even then, where Batman's just like, I know who you are. You just figured it out, jerk.
The idea that it has to be so on the nose, like, here's a little bit of more clue, but not only does, Brion here not have to, just take off his mask and reveal it is Geoforce Brion Markov, but we have to have him tear off the entire Deathstroke costume that he's wearing to reveal the entire Geoforce costume underneath.
The whole costume while the building is rumbling
and
down.
I guarantee that nobody who's been reading comics within only the last 10 years for the most part and is stuck to what's been currently going on. Maybe if you watch the Young Justice cartoon, but I just imagine there's a lot of people who don't know some old lore or anything like that who haven't been reading who's this? It's
not a Mark Shaw reveal. I'll give him that. But
you're right.
A Geoforce reveal, hopefully, and we do get that, Omega issue, you really need to spell out why he is upset, not just the idea. And it could really be a good way to tie up all of that Bendis nonsense with the whole,
Leviathan and
Markovia and stuff like that. And that will be a good reset. Get those things back. And yeah, so that I said, I don't know that they're going to go full. I just wish that you would just at least mention.
Well, what was that issue I was talking about before? Because like I said, we have done this previously in pre-Flashpoint and it was done really well. It's the Last Will and Testament of the DC Universe. Because I think that's what it's called, because that's an amazing issue where Geoforce confronts Deathstroke about what happened to his sister and everything like that. And even ties in the idea of Rose Wilson being under the super soldier serum that confused her mind, and then Tara was as well, and that's why she was acting so out of place, almost giving her a pseudo redemption for everything, how she acted at the end of her life in the New Teen Titans in the 80s. But it was a great confrontation between Brion and Slade, and I'm just are we just kind of rehashing that? Because I don't feel you're ever going to top that.
Well, that's the thing. I think that what you're doing here is you're not going to actually try to top it because at this moment, Slade's dead. I mean, I don't think he is dead.
That, man. Top that.
Yeah, you end up where this is going to be more about Talia. I think that's why Deathstroke is out of the game right now and go with the Talia. But I wish that you would actually, if you're going to play anything, we keep saying, you can't go back because of the kind of child and adult
and Tara being alive and not mattering.
Alive and not alive. I wish that what we would get here is we would just find out that something went a little wonky after she left that Deathstroke Inc. Or the Deathstroke Squad. What was it called again? The
Defiance.
Defiance. When she left that, something went wrong, and now he blames Deathstroke for not being there.
What a cool group that was, though, where you had Jericho, Rose, cool. Deathstroke, Power Girl, freaking Kid Flash, and also Tara Markov. I'm that was an amazing group.
Remember that cool cover with them in the white and black outfits?
That's all I think
awesome.
of, honestly.
It was so awesome. I love that. And we liked all the characters on it. It was really good. But maybe this would be a way where Joshua Williamson can maybe give us a little hint of what happened to Tara after that. What she went and did after that or whatnot.
Or somebody can actually bring up the idea that Power Girl, besides for weird possible futures, has never been brought up again since she... And I say Power Girl as the new Power Girl, Tanya Spears Power Girl. Bring her back in a good way that makes sense for where we previously left her off in that Deathstroke series.
I'm telling you right now, Batman should be looking for her. She's a billionaire, Eric. She has money out the wazoo.
And it's the worst part, though, because...
And she was so smart and all that stuff.
We got to freaking fix some Bendis-isms in this book, and it seems like a lot of writers anymore are just fixing Tom King and Bendis stuff that they've done previously.
It's a full-time job now.
Even when you had Future State and you saw that Justice League in the future that were in Detroit again for some reason, where Billy Batson was the leader of that. When you had the Tanya Spears Power Girl and that, but she was called Powerhouse now.
Powerhouse.
Then Bendis stole that and said that's what Naomi's name is. I'm don't do that. I want Tanya Spears more.
And that was a cool thing that when you go in the future, a lot of times you hate that idea of the future deal that is kind of set in stone, but you don't. But the idea that we saw her, that was cool. Oh my God, they remembered her. And yeah, it would be cool to kind of get that back together and see what happened. But we'll see. We'll see how this,
and that's the reason that Brion was able to do this, because she was the linchpin behind everything. Brion freed her, and she was pissed off that nobody in her Defiant Squad went to save her from that weird pocket dimension she was stuck in.
Tara.
With Karen Starr. But Karen Starr's kind of back, but not.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, the Omega issue, maybe it will resolve some things. Hopefully, I like this issue better than the Deathstroke Inc. issue.
So do I.
You're
but
still
mostly
setting up things. It's really just setup in my mind. But what's that?
I'm saying I like it better than the other one. Mostly it's the art, though, because the thing is, like, the reveal of Geoforce here is just like the reveal of Respawn. It didn't mean much to me because I knew it was Geoforce for a while now, and I still don't think that Respawn's dead. But even this whole idea, it's just finding out the stuff that for characters that we already know while continuing a fight that already started in the last issue. And all this book really has going for it, in my mind, is better looking, like, art in the long run. And it's just, okay, we can finally, like, put a pin in this and move on. But this issue, and for the most part, even though it looks better, didn't do all that much more than the previous issue in my mind.
Yeah, you're right. At least you get to the deal. Now, you end up having a huge thing, but it's not huge because how many times are we going to see, say, a Deathstroke that we know has a healing factor die? This is not going to hit. I think that's supposed to be a big deal. Oh my God, Talia
he's
won.
Dead.
My father's dead.
He's got stabbed. What are you talking about?
The Robin deal with, him going to be upset about Respawn, you needed a little more of that too. And Batman just comes in and it's like, hey, break it up. We got to get going. So a lot of things weren't able to hit because of the page space or whatnot, or how they progressed in the pacing of the issue. But you do end up with, big reveal, I guess, of it's me, Geoforce. Batman's like, that'd be funny if Batman's like right before, oh, Batman, here I am. He's like, I know who you are.
Metamorpho.
He's so off. I know who you are.
I knew it was you all along, Halo.
That's what I'm saying. It would be so funny. I know it was you, Dreamer Beautiful. Not the beautiful Dreamer, Eric.
No.
But yeah, so at the end, Geoforce. And like you said, I think more people than not, if you know Geoforce as a character, I think you already figured it out. If you didn't figure it out, didn't know Geo, then it's not going to hit. So it's a weird cliffhanger, like you said. What would you give it, though?
Like I said, the art's better, which I'm going to give it a better points in the last issue. So I'm going to give it a 6.8 out of 10.
I'm actually going up to a 7.3. I'm going to add it. There's little different things. I should go 7.5 because I think the art is a lot better. And there's a little bit of moments in there that
I like the way that this is handled with the characters and how they react to, even though it's the same writer, which is weird, but the way that the same things that we dealt with in the previous issue, I feel like they were handled with more care here. Maybe it was just the art just making me do it, but for some reason the voices felt better, the way they acted felt better.
I agree.
And we're just dealing with the same stuff over again, so it's weird, but the book just ultimately looked better, but had almost the same kind of plot that we had previously.
And I know that, like, some people, like the 7.5, 6, those seem like low scores or whatnot. I'm still enjoying this. It's just that I think that maybe you're getting spread thin on 3 issues involved with each of the, the storyline going in, Batman, Deathstroke, Inc., and Robin. Maybe you could have just had its own little mini-series type deal and gone and been a little tighter and told, a better story in the amount of issues going. But I'm still liking it. I still like what we're getting. It just keeps being something that I want a little more. Not mad what we're getting, just mad that we're not getting a little more of the personal touch, because it does seem to be something based on the drama and the families and this, and you're not, and you're not going enough into that because you're too busy with this a bunch of characters fighting and then saying sayonara sucker and leaving. So yeah, I'm not disappointed, and I kind of wanted a little more here. But
what do you think the odds are of Wingman dying in this fight? Because it doesn't make any sense for him to be here for who the character previously was.
They think that, I'm telling you, Girder being there is worse. And I think that'd be funny if they both stab each other at the same time, both of them fall.
Yeah, you go and try to stab Girder.
Each other. Yeah, there's sometimes that we'll point out, like, why is this character here? Why is that there? Girder and things, maybe you can kind of, look past.
Let's just imagine that Girder, for some reason, even though he's a part of the secret society of supervillains,
ball rolling through here.
That'd be amazing. But the idea is, like, he leaves this fight and goes get arrested immediately. He gets back to the States and goes to Iron Heights, where then Warden Wolf's like, I need you to go out and do some secret work for me. Where the Flash's prey come back. We're like, you done fucked up, Girder. Kill that fool.
Wingman doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense.
Jason Todd's father, Willis Todd, is still in disguise over here for some reason as Wingman, and Batman has no idea.
No, Batman's just like, look at you there, you're a cool guy. Signing the checks that he doesn't have money to sign.
Like, who does he think this Wingman is, though? Because he knows the last time he saw Wingman, it was Jason Todd in that costume.
I think you're not supposed to think about that. You're thinking too hard. Oh, my goodness. But yeah, there you go. That is the Bananas TGIF Thank God It's Friday podcast, little Shadow War special.